Hey, Guru Nation. I wanted to do this video slash podcast for you guys because there is a lot of people interested in site ownership. I'm literally going through it myself right now here in Yuma, Arizona. There's a lot of people interested. They think all you got to do is get doctors interested and sign them into contracts, and then that's it. Like the business, they're never gonna go anywhere because hey, they signed this piece of paper, and now they have to work for you. That's not the way it works. So let's break this down. I've done videos on site ownership, but I want to like hone in on this particular aspect. When you are a brand new site owner and you are not the physician, by far the most important thing you have to do is get one physician, preferably a family practice physician, on board with you. Why family practice? Because it casts the widest net. So that's the first thing you've got to do is get this physician on board. That doesn't mean have them sign a contract that your lawyer created that's bulletproof, that they're going to be with you forever. There's no such thing. Guys and gals, hear me out here. It costs about $200,000 for a lawsuit. It costs about $200,000 for a lawsuit, whether you win or lose. Do you have, as a startup clinic, that kind of money to go after your new investigator that decides they don't want to work with you anymore? Which, by the way, is more likely to happen that they choose not to work with you than they choose to do work with you. So the effort, your effort, the most important thing you have when you're starting out is your energy. The energy and effort you need to put into this is into cultivating those relationships with doctors, never relying on just one. Start with one, preferably family practice. Expand your sphere of influence out to specialists, their colleagues, bring them on board, cultivate those relationships. What do I mean by cultivate those relationships? I mean literally hold their hand when they need to, when they have time. Most of them don't have time, so you got to make time. I Here in Yuma, I've been documenting this, and I wish I could film everything I do. I can't. I'm still cultivating the relationship. The level of trust is not there to film like whenever I want to. Eventually, it's going to get there. I've been doing weekly meetings with my main PI because I'm cultivating relationship. This is what I've been doing this week on studies. I've been applying to these three. What do you think about this study? I'm getting a CDA for this one. We're going to need a -20 freezer for this one. We might need a -70 freezer for this one. It's a lot of stuff going on when you're applying for studies, even before you get your first study. We now have our first site selection visit. So now the conversation's changed, at least for that study, more into how are we going to do this study? There's a 6-hour period. What can we do with the patient to make sure we retain them? Things like that. That's cultivating a relationship. It's a lot more effort that you need to put into cultivating these relationships with these PIs rather than figuring out which lawyer can write you the best contract, because that's a waste of your time. Quite honestly, that's a waste of your money too. You can just get a regular independent contractor agreement in place with your PI. Initially, they're just going to be independent contractor for you anyways. Later, they can turn into W-2 or an actual business partner with you, meaning a K1 equity partner in your LLC or your S corp, an actual shareholder or member if it's an LLC. That's what I mean by cultivating relationships. The next thing you got to focus on, well, concurrently, it's not even next. Once you get one PI interested, you need to start getting studies. You need to bring studies. Doctors, especially when they're brand new to research, they're trusting you that you know what you're doing. So obviously, the quicker you could bring them a study, the better. Now, it's not quick that studies come around, and it's by the time you get your first, by the time you start looking for studies for your PI to your first site selection visit, might be 3 months, might be longer. Sometimes it's shorter. In my case, it was about 3 months if you count that site selection visit, which hasn't even happened yet. It's going to happen next week. It's been about almost exactly 3 months. If all I had was one conversation with the PI in those 3 months, and that was at the beginning, and I got them to sign a contract, and then I never talked to them again until we schedule our site selection visit, I might be in for a big surprise when I talk to my PI to schedule a site selection visit and they tell me they're no longer interested because communication broke down already. It's been 3 months and you haven't had any conversations with the PI. I do weekly. So bring the study as quickly as you can. It's going to take 3 months. So at the same time, simultaneously do these weekly meetings, make them productive. Why are you going to use eSource? Are you going to use eReg? What's GCP? What's IATA? Do we have a CLIA? What equipment do we have? Where's the coordinator going to be? Where's the monitor going to go if you're using their office? If you're using your office, you have different conversations, such as logistics. How do I get a hold of you when a patient's here, when a monitor's here? Who do I need to schedule your calendar with? Is it you? Is it your receptionist, your admin? What do I do? There's always going to be something. There's so many moving parts when you're doing clinical research as a site owner. So get the PI, immediately start looking for other doctors too. Their sphere of influence will be helpful. Do the same thing with them. Get studies, have conversations, keep open communication. What to expect when applying for studies for a brand new PI? Expect a lot of rejection, a lot. For every 100 emails you're going to send, you might get 3 people interested, 3 sponsors interested. You might get a couple CDAs, 3 CDAs, 3 feasibilities, maybe 1 SSV, and then maybe, if as long as you keep doing this, 100 every month, 100. In my case, I've been doing way less than 100 a month. I'm a client of DSCS. I'm a client of my own company, DSCS. We help sites all the time. Text me if you're interested, 949-415-6056. We'll help you get studies. We'll help do your contracts and budgets. I'm a client of my own company. I've been maybe receiving 12 leads a week that DSCS is reaching out on my behalf, and I'm doing the following up. From those 12 leads, on average, I probably respond or follow up to 6 of those leads. So in a month, I'm doing about 24, let's call it 25 emails I send out. From those, I got 1 site selection visit, which is 2 studies in one, and so far 1 CDA. So potentially 3 studies, all for my 1 PI. I've gotten 2 other specialists interested. I've met with 2 of them already. No, sorry, I got 3 other specialists interested. I met with 2 of them. I haven't applied for anything for them yet. I've just been getting their CVs. I think I might have an appropriate study for one of my other specialists, but I have 2 of the same specialists, and I need to figure out which one is going to want it more, which one's going to want to actually work with me more. Right now, they're both very hard to get a hold of. So I don't know where I'm going with that one. But thank God my family practice PI, my main PI, who's letting me use his office, has been very good. And I've been practicing what I preach with you guys. Cultivate a relationship, earn their trust. Don't just go there once and then go again when the study comes. Go communicate, over communicate if you have to. Expect a lot of rejection. Expect a lot of PIs or physicians to say they're interested and then not, and then like be radio silent for a while and then come back and express interest and back and forth. This is why you always need to diversify. Have more doctors than you think you need. Always. Always. And as far as getting studies, expect a lot of rejection. Most of them. This is what they don't like. It's very tough to have a brand new research naive physician. That first study is the toughest one. After that, it's a little bit easier. So this first site selection visit, it's important because it's going to make everything easier for us to do future studies. So then it's going to get easier for you to get studies, and then your time should free up for more biz dev activities like finding more physicians, and then figuring out how are you going to get the patients, and then figuring out who's going to be your coordinator. In my case, it's me until I hire. It's my wife and I until I hire somebody who I'm gonna have to train from the ground up, because in the area that I'm at, there are no coordinators here. So I'm gonna have to train them, put them in my CRC academy, have them work with me, train them, and have them be a coordinator. So it's a lot of work going into this, but it's also very rewarding work, and you're gonna develop a lot of skills in the process. So I just wanted to leave you guys on this Labor Day with just a quick podcast slash video on site ownership. And I hope that it encourages you. It's not easy, but I hope it motivates you as well. And if you need help getting studies or setting up your own site, text me 949-415-6256. We have a lot of stuff that we offer. I'm my own client, like I mentioned, and we even have CRC Academy trainings that my staff is going to do. So have a good weekend, everybody. And if you're watching this in the future, the weekend doesn't make sense. But you know what? Get out there. If you really want this, go after it. I have way more videos on this topic. Like, subscribe, comment, share. If you don't know what to comment, just put a robot emoji. It's going to be very helpful. Thank you very much. Bye bye.